Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, August 25th, 2016. I'm Kat Galliano.
And I'm Stephen Anastas. Welcome to the Local Live.
Village of Mamaroneck residents may face 2 referendums on election night. Those details next.
The Department of State says that the Army Corps flood mitigation plan is consistent. A local park is getting a new facelift for Larchmont's 125th birthday celebration.
The town of Mamaroneck is now accepting clothing donations. Find out where you can drop them off.
A new crime drama is filming in Mamaroneck. This and other trending online news in our In the Media segment.
Mamaroneck says goodbye to summer in their last block party event. More in our community segment.
And this week, Badger Swim Club is in the spotlight.
Have you ever wanted to communicate with your lovely pets? Well, don't look further because tonight, animal whisperer Suzanne Johnson is in our studio to answer all your questions.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.
The Mamaroneck Village Board of Trustees is proposing 2 local laws that will give them authority to appoint the village attorney and members of the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals, powers now exercised by the mayor. If approved, the new laws U and T will be put before voters in a referendum this fall. Both proposals were introduced at the August 15th board meeting and are scheduled for a public hearing on September 6th. Proposed local law U would transfer to the Board of Trustees the mayor's power to appoint the village's attorney. Proposed local law T would transfer to the board the mayor's power to appoint members and chairpersons of the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. Currently, under the village law of the state of New York, the mayor has these powers and the Board of Trustees votes to approve or disapprove. Both new proposals will supersede the mayor's power, but must be approved by voters. Here's some video of the August 16th meeting right after the local law proposals were announced.
Once again, the board majority shows their lack of fortitude by introducing this at 11:20 at night after everybody's gone and most people are in bed. If you actually believe in these laws, then the timing really shouldn't matter, because if the law is worth passing, it's worth passing at the November election or at a special election to be held some other time. To have a special meeting on the Tuesday after Labor Day, when quite a few people aren't going to be around, and you know nobody will be watching because nobody's expecting a regular meeting. If you truly believe in the laws that you're proposing, you should have the fortitude to present them publicly at a regular meeting, at a work session, and follow the real process.
The New York Department of State has determined that the plan to control flooding in Mamaroneck Village is consistent with the state's coastal zone management plan, as well as the village's waterfront revitalization program. In an August 17th letter to the Army Corps of Engineers, the State Department made 4 recommendations. Among them, minimize the removal of native plants, coordinate plans with village and county officials, and develop a plan to ensure the project's success and manage the water quality. The State Department's approval is a step forward for the project, which will impact areas along 1.8 miles of Mamaroneck and Sheldrake rivers.
Some homeowners along the route are complaining that details have not been made public and their questions have gone unanswered. Village manager Richard Slingerland told the Local Live that the village sent 3 separate letters to the 50 or 60 residents whose property may be affected. The village board has also answered questions at monthly meetings, and a public session was held in the Emblem Theater with the Army Corps engineers.
Last week, ABC News aired a story about one resident who marked off a section of her backyard that she said might be swallowed up, not by floodwater, but by federal government. Mamaroneck Mayor Norman Rosenblum told the reporter that these worries are premature, that the engineering phase of the project is just beginning, and nothing is ever perfect. He added that the village could never afford this big of a project, and that if the village didn't start the project now, these federal funds would not be available in the future. The project, he said, will improve the quality of life and the vibrancy of the village. During the Village of Larchmont Board of Trustees meeting on August 15th, it was announced that the work will begin on the Village Green area of Constitution Park. It is expected to be completed by September 2nd. The renovations were made possible by public and private collaborations. The nonprofit organization Larchmont 125 helped raise $12,500 to help the project get started.
Larchmont 125 is celebrating with the second annual Larchmont Day Street Festival on Saturday, September 24th from noon to 4 p.m. on Larchmont Avenue and Boston Post Road. The festival will have live entertainment, carnival games, big trucks, food trucks, and best of all, it's free. Don't miss out on this great event for the whole family.
The town of Mamaroneck has a new clothing recycling drop-off location. You can now donate your clothing, shoes, socks, purses, belts, and ties at the town's 40 Maxwell Avenue recycling facility. The effort is to recycle usable items to thrift stores, and unwearable ones will be turned into rags and cloth.
Here's Michael Bianco with what's trending in the media.
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Community Counseling Center has kids throwing paint-filled eggs at a canvas. This is part of a new behavioral therapy program called The Circle, where teens participate in group activities. The goal is to develop as individuals and deal with negative emotions. Go to LOHA.com for more info on the program and reach out to the counseling center if you want to sign up. If you're around Harbor Island Park, you might just hear lights, camera, action. The pilot episode for the upcoming crime drama Sneaky Pete was recently filmed at our local park. 2 other television shows were also filmed in Westchester, so if you want to learn more about them, check out the Mamaroneck Daily Voice. But TV crews aren't the only ones visiting Westchester. Our county has broken New York State tourism records. A second year in a row, visitors spent $1.8 billion this year. County Executive Robert Astorino says these numbers show that Westchester County continues to be a leading destination for business and pleasure in the state of New York. To read more, head over again to the Mamaroneck Daily Voice. Larchmont Mamaroneck teens soon are going back to school, and that also means a trip back to the doctor's office. Be sure to keep in mind vaccine requirements. Some teens in 7th and 12th grade may require meningitis vaccination or booster shots. To keep up to date, consult the Larchmont Patch for some health tips. Lastly, members of New Rochelle's police department were just gifted 3 doggy bulletproof vests. Jennifer Ubiol from Larchmont Animal Hospital and a patron of it, Jessica Levine, raised $3,000 on GoFundMe.com to purchase equipment for the canine unit. To hear more about this generous gift, visit abc7newyork.com. I'm Michael Bianco, and this is In the Media.
Up next, we have our local trivia question. And stay tuned for tonight's roundtable with animal whisperer Suzanne Johnson. She will be live in our studio to answer all your questions about your beloved pets.
If we could talk to the animals, learn their languages, think of all the things we could discuss. If we could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt, squeak, and even squawk with the animals, and they could talk and walk with us. Now, I didn't write that, of course. It's the song from Dr. Dolittle, If I Could Talk to the Animals. And our guest tonight can. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Mike Witch. And if you'd like to find out what's going on with your pet, you can email us a picture and your questions, and our guest will try to help. It's the local live at LMC-TV.org. Of course, as always, you can join this conversation. Just call us, email, or tweet. The contact information will be on your screen. We've already got a call.
That's right. So we're joined by Suzanne Johnson, who's an animal communicator and healer, and also a wildlife rehabilitator. Suzanne, thank you very much for joining us. I mean, the top thing people want to know is, Do you really talk to animals, or more precisely, do they really talk to you?
Well, that's the important question, because I think everybody talks to animals, right? Yes, I hear them kind of in my head in that way, like you do, and I get kind of information from them or about them, and then I also get information on how to help them. So sometimes the information comes from God of how to help them, and sometimes it actually comes from the animal, because they actually know a lot about their bodies and what they need.
Do you need to be with the animal for this?
No, I don't. I mean, it's nice. I like to be with the animal. You know, I love when somebody has me in a horse stable or something like that, or to see the animal, but I basically do it by email or Facebook. Or
How? How do you know you have the right animal?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. Otherwise, you're just making it up. I usually get a lot of confirmation from people, and one of the things that I learned to do when I first started hearing, I actually didn't start hearing about animals. I started hearing about people and how to help people and how to do healing work with people. So it was easy then, because I could just ask the person, you know, I'm getting that you have pain in your back, we're going to work on that. And sometimes they say, yeah, it has been bothering me, or else they say, well, gee, I didn't think my back was a problem, but we'll work on it anyway, because I just feel like we don't know the healing we need. God does, so, you know, a healing is always a healing. But with the animals, I usually get some kind of confirmation from the people. And sometimes it comes up later. Like last night, I thought it was amazing. Within an hour, I had 2 different people that emailed me about, remember you told me about my horse, and I just had the vet here today, and she confirmed it all. So I get a lot of that, you know, later on or something like that.
We have a caller
Yes.
right away.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, caller, you're on the local
I'm
live.
going to be on the phone for a while, so don't yell up at me, okay?
We heard that, caller.
Be on the phone for a while.
We don't have to talking to the children or the
Caller.
animals. Caller, you're on.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, caller.
Is that live?
Yes, you're live.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My question is for Suzanne.
Yes?
Hi, Suzanne. My name is
Hello.
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. I have a stray cat who I've been trying over the past couple years to sort of come inside more and more, which he is, but mostly it's just at night. He really wants to be an outdoor cat, and I can't get him to use a litter box. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, first of all, I did get that your cat was a big cat before I saw it, so it was pretty big. But he has another home that he goes to, by the way. That was kind of what I got. He is not so much using you in that sense at all. Like, he loves coming there. That's his home. But he has another place that he has to check in on. He's kind of checking in on it.
I'm going to put a GPS on him.
Yeah, he's checking in on a couple places, like making the rounds. This cat is making the rounds a little bit. He's very well fed, loves you, loves your home. He will not use a litter box. It sticks to his paws. It's so sticky. Like, gets up in his paws. He doesn't like it. Yeah, no, he's not going to be using the litter box. You can let him out.
Are you like being psychic, saying that he has other places that he checks in at, or is this just your experience?
You know, the information, no, that's what I'm getting. I'm just giving you everything that I hear. Like, I think of it as like a hollow bone, that's what they call it, where you just allow the information to come through you. Okay. So I try not to interject, but the picture and the information that I'm getting is he's kind of making his rounds, and he's not going to use that litter box. He likes to go outside. You don't have to worry about him. Like, if you put him out, he'll go outside. He's not.
He wants to be out, but he does hang around here. He sleeps on our deck a lot.
Yeah, he loves it. It's safe.
He'll stay in at night. If it's raining, he'll stay in with us. If it's real cold, he'll stay in with us. But we have woods behind us and birds and deer, so he just loves the outdoors.
It's not safe. He says it's not safe out there for him, so he is staying close. He knows it's safe where you are. And he likes the way you pet him, like on his shoulders. Like, you rub his shoulders. Everybody wants to touch his head, but you kind of rub his shoulders in that area. He loves that, too.
Oh, my goodness. So you think he is cheating on me?
He's
I have him chipped, by the way.
Yeah. The way that I'm getting it is he's, like, checking on people. Or, no, not people, homes.
Okay.
He's checking on them, like the mice. He knows where the little mice and things go, so he's just kind of making those checking rounds.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I should just let well enough be and
He's happy.
just let
Yeah.
him be outside when he
Yeah.
wants to be out.
Yeah, he'll come to you when he wants to.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
All
not
right,
your
well,
cat.
No,
that's
well,
what he's kind of saying is like he's not your cat.
I do have him chipped, so if somebody takes him, they're going to see that he's chipped.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your information.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Suzanne, during that conversation, we heard you sort of mumbling things.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us about that?
It's interesting how that works. Like I'm hearing the information and kind of saying it like as I'm hearing it, and then I say it again for the person. That's kind of how almost like that voice just is speaking through me in that sense. A lot of times when I do healing work, that's how it works. You know, like I'm saying what I'm hearing. So that's what that is.
We have an email that came in from a viewer. Are you ready for that?
Go right ahead.
This is from Susan, and she says she has a question for you. She's sent us a picture of two dogs, Truffle, who's 12 years old, and Monty, who's a 1-year-old male. Truffle is female. And she'd like to know if they're happy, and also if Truffle, who is elderly, is feeling any pain that she's not able to tell her about.
So the elderly one is not in pain. That's the first thing I'm getting. Not pain at all. Has a little problem with the shoulder. It's like the word that's coming to mind is a rotator cuff, whatever that would be. You know, like
shoulder.
Yeah, in the shoulder, like a little trouble up there, but it's not detrimental. Like it's not really hurting it. Not in a lot of pain. Is it in any pain? No, I'm good. So the other part is like dogs can handle pain. That's kind of the thing. But the dog is not complaining about pain. Has two problems though. I'm not getting enough to eat, like a little more food. I'm not getting enough. I need food. Like sometimes even though we're feeding our dogs a lot, like they like to eat. So maybe this is a dog that really likes to eat, like a little more food. So it's like that other dog is eating everything. Get the other dog out of the way while I'm trying to eat kind of a thing. It's important. I want my own food. That's kind of what the older dog is saying.
It's like two brothers where one of them's taking the
Yeah. He's kind of like, just like, let me have my own space, you know. And that's one of the things that's kind of nice about the animal communication is things that we don't even understand that our animals need or we don't think about. We just make one little alteration. You know, a cat wants to eat up high so that they're not agitated while they're eating. You know, this happens all the time. It's a very common thing where, you know, my cat is sick and we think that they're eating and they're getting nutrition, but they're not because they're not able to absorb the nutrition in the food because they're so anxious. So just by making it a little more pleasant for them to eat, you know, they tell us, don't rush your food, right? And then you'll digest it better. So sometimes animals have that too. She had a question about the other dog?
She wants to know if they're happy.
I just want to go back to the older one because there were two things with that. So the first thing was it wants to kind of eat in peace and have more food. I'm very happy. I'm spreading out. So the idea is that it loves to spread out, like spreads way out, like in the sunshine, special spot that it likes to lay in. It's perfect. And it doesn't like to be interrupted. That's the other thing when it's laying there. Like just a calmness, likes to just lay and be left alone. And just like the puppy is just like saying, it's not a puppy. I hear there's a couple different things about hearing. I don't always get male and female, so I don't even pay attention to that. And I don't always get age, so I don't pay attention to that. Like a lot of times I'll hear the pup or the puppy, but that's not really like indicative of how old it is.
Are they talking to you in English?
I always hear it in English, yeah, I do. I hadn't thought about that. And it's just like kind of, the pup needs to get out of the way when it's stretched out in that sense, like a little bit of peace. I'm getting the idea this old dog definitely wants to be left alone. They're very happy. They have a lot of time alone, these two dogs. And they like that. We're okay. That's the big message, yeah.
Thank you. We have another caller.
Yes, we do.
Caller, you're on the local live with Suzanne Johnson, and so go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tanya, and hi, Suzanne.
Hello.
Thank you for helping us. I have two dogs. One of them is Benji, and one of them is Lily. They both have, I guess, problems. One of them, Lily, she likes to chew or tries to bite her own knees. So she has lost most of the hair on her knees. And Benji, he's very aggressive. He tries to bite us almost all the time. And he just becomes aggressive to, like, even if we try to pet him or carry him, he doesn't react very well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm keep hearing a urinary tract problem, so I'm going to just ask what that information is. It's about the little dog. So the little one that has the leg problem, is that the little one?
Yes.
And it has a urinary tract issue. This dog is sick. She has a urinary tract issue. She needs to be taken to a vet. So she needs to be taken to a vet and have have her urinary tract taken care of. It's not an infection, but similar to an infection. Is that correct? Yeah. And let me just ask about the chewing on the leg. So the chewing on the leg is basically that she's in distress because she's sick with this urinary problem, and she can't control it. So you can help her by giving her more water. Okay. And raise the vibration of the water. It's so we're talking. This is a little bit of a spiritual thing, but the information is to raise the vibration of the water. Just pray over it. So you can kind of pray over her water, raise the vibration of the water, and it'll help her a little bit. But she needs medication, and that's just information that I'm getting. That's not from the dog. So we can ask the dog what we can do to help her, and I'll just ask her if that's her problem. Ow, 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 ow. And I'm just getting, she's just saying like ow, 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 like her belly is bothering her, and she has like in distress. So I think if you get that taken care of, she'll stop with the chewing, and that would be better. So we can ask about the dog that's aggressive. Yeah. You didn't have this dog when it was a puppy?
We got him when he was about 3 months, and we rescued him because another family that adopted him, they were giving him away because the other dogs that he used to live with, they were just not getting along very well, so we adopted him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a very distressed, like what we would think of as a childhood in the very beginning, extremely distressed, always picked on, beaten on, eaten on, like maybe the other dog, if that's correct. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, he's just saying like, ow, this other dog was like biting at him, kind of chewing at him. He's always been like that. So he's always been like that from the time that he was young. You can help him by giving him calming techniques. So what that means is don't put him in a cage. Do you have a cage for him?
No, he doesn't have a cage. He runs around the house. Mm-hmm. We have a yard, so anytime that we're at the house, we like to take him out to the yard. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't let us pet him. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he does, but then the minute we touch his head or something, he just starts growling at me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow, that sounds difficult to have that for a pet. But so what I'm getting is it comes from the time he was really young, from a treatment from another dog. And I'm just getting that like ow, ow, ow is bit at. So he's kind of learned to bite at people. So what I'm just kind of tuning into the dog, and he's just kind of saying, you can stop me by just saying stop. And like you're putting your hands out to him, showing him I'm not going to hurt you. I love you, telling him I love you. And he will calm down. He needs to be away from the other dog. The other dog brings out a lot of anxiety in him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The small one?
When he's not with the other dog, he's going to be calmer. I love being alone. He's just kind of saying, I love being alone. He doesn't want to be with another dog. Like as much as he loves her, it brings out a lot of anxiety in him.
I've noticed that he likes to stay on the first floor and likes to be like underneath the couch. And likes to be left alone. Actually, he doesn't like to be bothered.
Yeah. try keeping him away from the other dog for a little while and see if that doesn't calm him down a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, caller. We actually have a tweet, don't we, Mike?
Yes, we'd like you to meet Odin.
Okay.
The viewer says that he's a Rottweiler on the right side, is old, and she wants to know how is he feeling and is he happy?
Okay, so he's sweet dogs, by the way. And the first thing I'm getting is he has like a gastrointestinal issue, like with his throat, with swallowing. It's difficult for him to swallow. There's a lot of problems swallowing. And he's just kind of saying, I don't like to swallow. It hurts his throat. And then he has like trouble kind of digesting the food. So he's asking for a little softer food. Wet it a little bit. Like if you wet it a little bit, and then he can swallow it. And other than that, he has a perfect life. Everything's perfect. And I'm just getting, I like to lay, like he's showing me how he lays like this and licks his paws. I love to lick my paws all day long. He's just going to tell me like that's all I want to do is just lay and lick my paws. Perfectly happy. Good dog. Yeah, and he's like a good dog. That's what I'm getting from him.
You're talking to the animals like they're human, and I'm curious about this. Actually, I learned today about two dogs who are behaving like humans. They're going to put up pictures, but the backstory is that one of them, the one on the left, the darker one, is actually the father, and they were separated for several years until one was taken home to a friend of the father. And they behave like father and son. We can go to the next picture. That's how they sleep when they're together. Or the next one.
Always touching. Yeah.
Can you explain where that comes from? I was just so taken when I saw those pictures.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because the more I do this, the more I just realize how they're really just like us. And they have those same feelings, and there's so many people that want to say that they don't, or it's just coincidence or anything, but they have, the things I found out is they have the same traumas that we might have suffered. You know, I work with horses, all different kinds of animals, and they're sometimes telling me about a trauma they had at birth. Or I've worked with animals with low self-esteem. You know, these are animals that are the smallest horse in the barn, and they feel worthless.
So what do you do when you're dealing with an emotional or a psychological issue?
Well, you know what I do?
Okay.
I don't know how to help them.
You do?
So I just call on Jesus, because that's how all my healing work kind of comes through. So I know that's like, what would Jesus do? But I just ask for that, you know, obviously, I'm not making this up in my head, and it's coming from somewhere. So I always say it just kind of comes from God. And I just ask him, and then he explains to the horse and talks to the horse. Can I give you an example? That example of the small horse. So this horse was not eating, it was starving, it couldn't be put with other horses. The other horses were kind of picking on it. And it told me which horse it could be with, and then which was a pony, a little horse, and this was a very small horse. And when God intervened, he said, you have the most important job at the stable, and if you were a big horse, you couldn't do it. So I've never been in this stable before. And the story was that a woman who worked at the stable lost her home, her trailer burned down to the ground. She lost five dogs in that fire and was devastated. The owner gave her that horse, which kind of brought her back to life. And the kicker is, she's a teeny tiny lady. She couldn't ride the big horses. So the only horse she could ride was that little horse. So when that horse was told, you have the most important job here, because look, you know, you saved whatever the woman's name was, you saved her just by being, you know, your size. So it brought the horse back. So then I love it. You know, you check on it later and you find out, yep, we put it in with the other ponies, doing great. She's eating again. She's digesting her food well. And, you know, so they have the same stresses and traumas that we have. And we just don't realize that. From little animals, I do wildlife rehabilitation. So I get squirrels and all kinds of animals, deer that I get to converse with and ask, you know, if I don't know how to save something, should I give it kitten milk or puppy milk? And I'll hear like, give it kitten milk. So I don't even have to make up my own mind half the time. I just ask.
We have another question. This one is from Natalia. And she says, we have a calico cat named BB, or Baby, who we've had since she was a baby. She's now older and is always having problems with people when they visit our home. She's very mean, she hisses, she chases people and scratches them. She's only nice to us. And she asks, what can we do so she feels safe and comfortable? We've tried everything.
Okay, so I'm just asking, so here's how this works. So I'm just asking if we can talk to the cat, because as you notice, I'm getting information from, not just the animals. So let me just ask if we can talk to the cat. I will talk to you. So that's what I'm hearing is like, I will talk to you. I don't like people. So she's saying, I just don't like people. They're too big. They're too fast. They're too out. Like, I think that's loud, like obnoxious. The word obnoxious is kind of coming into mind. I just don't like them. I have my turf. So she's kind of saying like she has her turf. This is where I live. And I'm just kind of seeing her almost like this. Like, this is what I own. This is my property. I don't want anybody in it. And she doesn't want anybody in it. She's kind of territorial. I was told this is mine. So she's kind of saying when she was little, she was told this is hers. Like, this is your house. So what we need to do then is kind of talk to her and ask if we can, if she'll kind of switch gears. So we can do that now. So we'll just say like, let's see. So then this is where I say like, I'm not exactly sure how to do it. So I would just ask and we can just say, we're going to do a healing on the cat. And basically what we'll say is, this is not your house. And what she's saying, what I'm hearing back is like, but I thought I lived here. And we're going to tell her, you do live here. This is everybody's house. And they're allowed to have company. And she's saying, I didn't know that. And I'm hearing like, now you know. And it's like, oh, is that simple? Here's what you need to do. Take people's things and leave them around. So she's just kind of being told, so now this is where I like how the animal communication works when I do it, is it's like, how can we move past it? How can we take the information we know we have and help and make some help? So the information is, and people can do it as they see fit. So a lot of times I give advice and people don't do it, and that's perfectly fine. But a lot of times when they do it, it works out. So the information that I'm getting is like, take things that belong to people, like your friends, and leave it in the house. And she'll get the idea that it's their house too. Your shoe. I'm getting like, oh, is that your shoe? I remember when you came over and you left your shoe here. So this is your house too. So if their things are there, bring other people's things into the home. It'll give the cat the idea that the house belongs to other people, and keep telling them like, this is not just your house. So when they talk to the cat and they say like, this is not just your house, we live here too, she'll get that after a while. Like, she'll understand that.
So can we just talk to our animals and explain it to them like we would explain to our children? Will they understand
That is almost always the information that I get. And a lot of times what I hear is that the animals are hearing us, but we're just not hearing them. Like, they know what we mean in that sense. So we just forget, we've forgotten over the years that we can communicate with them and they can communicate with us in that sense.
We have another viewer, Christina, who has Jojo and Bella.
Okay.
She says they've lived together for 7 years. The Chi, I think that's the dog's Chihuahua, is 10, and Jojo Bella is 6 and a lab, was adopted, and she wants to know about her fear of cages and being left alone. She has some tics, she says, anxiety being left alone. Jojo has become mean in his old age. He was bit, his jaw was broken by our lab. It was wired and it's healed. It was one nip and we have no idea why it happened.
Okay, so let's take care of the anxiety first, because a lot of animals start with anxiety and then it leads into other issues, nutrition and things like that. So let's get over, you know exactly why it happened. Okay, so I'm just hearing the lab, and what he's saying is like, you know exactly why that happened. You know exactly why you got bit, exactly why it happened. That's just what I keep hearing. Like for the
The lab is saying why the little
lab
one was bit?
is kind of talking to the little dog, like, you know exactly why you got bit. Like, don't tell me you don't know why you got bit. And I have to just kind of remind them that it's the people. No, the dog doesn't know. So what I'm hearing the lab say is like, no, that the Chihuahua doesn't know why he got bit. He's like, what happened? Like, he's innocent in the whole thing. Took what was mine. And he's just saying, like, you took what was mine. It was mine. I don't know if it was an item or a piece of food or a toy or something like that. And it just gave him a warning sniff. Oh, he's calling it a sniff. I just sniffed him. So that's like, even though he bit him, like he's saying, I just sniffed him, like a warning. But he knows exactly what happened. It's almost like the lab is resenting the fact that this Chihuahua got all this attention from that. Didn't need to. He was fine. And that's what he's kind of saying. No, they don't get along. And the lab doesn't seem to, nope, doesn't like the Chihuahua either. And the idea is that the Chihuahua always had anxiety. It always had anxiety, like it wasn't just since that time. It's tranquilized, and it needs to be tranquilized. I don't know if they're already giving it tranquilizers. Or
is the lab telling you that?
Nope, I'm getting that
from the Chihuahua.
Let me see. No, it's just what I'm hearing. Like that's just what God is saying is that the Chihuahua needs some sort of tranquilizer or some. I don't know if it's on tranquilizers, but it needs it. So it's calling it a tranquilizer. So I don't know if that's an anti-anxiety kind of a pill, because it's getting worse as it gets older. He's chewing on things. He's like chewing on things. I don't know if he's chewing on himself, but that's the anxiety part of it. It'll calm it down, and that they should keep separated. The dogs don't like each other, and that the lab is kind of like just hasn't forgiven the Chihuahua for causing. It's funny because I'm thinking it should be the other way around, and I'm not hearing the Chihuahua. I'm just hearing the lab. I'm just hearing the lab.
So what do you do in that case? Do you keep the dogs separate? Do you get rid of one of them? Give them.
Well, I guess that would be up to the people, you know.
Do you make a recommendation about something like that?
Well, I would ask the dogs what they would want, you know. I would ask, can they live together? And I'm hearing like we do live together. Hello, we do live together. I just keep hearing that lab. The lab is a very strong personality. I love my house. I love my people. I love my laying on the floor. He loves eating his food. Just don't like the Chihuahua. He just doesn't like the Chihuahua. I don't know why it's here. Like he just doesn't know why it's here, kind of thing. So the lab would be perfectly happy if the Chihuahua was not around. But let me see about the Chihuahua. And he's like, I'm just getting that. Like I don't even know what happened. Like everything was fine, and all of a sudden we have this huge dog. That's what I'm getting, kind of thing. So I walk in. So it's telling me like he walks in amongst his feet. I'm always underfoot, kind of a thing, hanging around the dog. Like kind of thought that would be okay. It's not okay, evidently. Yeah. And we learned that the hard way.
Fascinating.
We have another question.
We have another. Oh,
We do.
Okay.
This is from. Whoops, I went to the wrong one. This is from Jamie, and. Come on, Michael, let's get your act together here. Jamie says, I'm wondering why my dog is so friendly and loving towards humans of all ages, but so aggressive towards other dogs. It is so difficult to take her on a walk. The second she sees another dog, she goes crazy. And also, she'd love to know why she has accidents on the floor, sometimes minutes after she's come back from a walk. She definitely does it on purpose.
Okay, so I'm just hearing she's just saying she's not a dog. I don't know why you keep telling me I'm a dog. She's just not a dog. I'm not even a dog. She's just kind of keeps saying like, I'm not even a dog. Look at me, I'm a person. Oh, she's just doing that like, look at me, I'm a person. I can go pee-pee anywhere. And she's just saying like, I can go pee-pee anywhere. I can pee anywhere. Whether that makes it different than a dog or a person. Yes, it does. People pee in the house. Oh, because people pee in the house. So she's just like saying like, you know, maybe we can get her to use the toilet. That might be a little better. I don't have to go outside. So she's really kind of confused as to why people are treating her like a dog. So then what I usually do is, and I had this happen with a wolf at one point that I was working with, that it was a wolf that was it had been raised to be a dog, but then it ate the neighbor's Pomeranian, or how wolves are wolves. And we didn't know how to help it, so it had to be kind of told, you're not a dog, you're a wolf. And it was so beautiful the way that happened, because it wasn't, the information that came through to give the wolf was not, well, you ripped up the leather couch and you're a bad dog. It was people don't appreciate when wolves act like wolves. So, you know, you're acting like a wolf. So we need to just kind of ask how we can talk to her dog and explain that it's a dog. Get it a puppy. Oh, that's the first thing, is to get it a puppy.
Get it a puppy?
Get it a puppy. Get the dog a puppy. So let me just ask. Yeah, the dog wants a puppy. Okay, so the dog kind of wants a puppy. If I had a puppy, I could be a puppy. So there's that idea. I don't know if they'd be open to getting another dog, but that might help it understand a little more that it's a dog. Oh, but now I'm hearing I don't want a puppy. I want a dog of my own. Oh, so it's like I want a dog of my own, a big dog. Oh, not a little dog, a big dog. So let me just ask, because she seems to really be struggling with this in the house thing. I'm gonna go in the house. So there are pads that you can get for the dog. So if it's okay with her, she can allow it to go. It seems like it wants to go in the house. If it had a special place in the house, you know, people that live in the city have little indoor fire hydrants and stuff for their dogs. I don't know if that's something that can work. Or if that's non-negotiable, tell it it's a non-negotiable. You have to go outside. You are a dog. I'm going to treat you like a dog. So just start treating it like a dog. I don't think she treats it like a dog. No, I'm getting that. Sleeps on the bed. Yeah, that dog has a lot of privileges that dogs don't have. So kind of start treating it like a dog.
Okay.
That's what I would get.
And we have another.
I can see
another
that.
viewer.
Okay.
This is Phoebe, a dog, and the viewer says she's aggressive. Oh, this is the same dog. Okay, so we don't have to worry about this question.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now you've written a book, haven't you?
I did. Yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
I just had it published this past spring. Yeah, it's actually so the short story is my son was sick for a long time, and then he was healed through a miracle. We took him to every doctor imaginable, but he was healed through a healer. So that's shortly after that, that's when I started hearing. And I just knew that's what it was, because I asked God to like just use me, make my kid well, and I'll do whatever you want. So it was kind of a deal. That's how I saw it. So when I started hearing, you know, I'm a school teacher, so I really didn't think I should be hearing voices in my head. I said to my husband, like, I think I'm crazy. But, you know, he's like, God wouldn't do that. And, you know, just kind of, so it took me a while to get past that point of, am I nuts? But I had a lot of support. So, and then I found out there are a lot of people out there that are hearing, and little by little, you know, more and more, we're becoming more comfortable with sharing that. And so, what was your question?
Your book.
So the book.
Yeah.
So one day I just heard, like, now you're going to write my book. So I had been doing healing work on people, like, now you're going to heal Melissa, or now you're going to do this, or, you know, I had a cat that was decrepit that came to me, and that's when I heard, like, now I'm going to show you how to do healing work on animals. So, like, I kept, little by little, God's just been giving me all those lessons. There's a lot of things that I do, you know. I can communicate with all different kinds of things I've done, dolphins, and, you know. And the thing I loved about it, and two things I hope to do with the animal communication, because I'm always thinking, like, why? You know, it can't just be about one dog or one cat or whatever. So is the idea that sometimes I get information that's sort of like species wide. I got beautiful information about a wolf, from a wolf one time. This is a different wolf, telling me why wolves were put here as a severe creature, and to teach people, and to never let them see us cry, like, kind of thing. So it's just really beautiful. So I was trying to share that with people, to let them know, like you said before, do animals have feelings? And the answer is yeah. How could they not? You know, you see a wolf looking at a sunset, you know, and what are they thinking? They are thinking all the time.
Where is your book available to people who may want to read it?
It's actually on Amazon. It's called From the Hand of God, and it's not an animal communication book. It's just 100 chapters on everything from love, how to save the world, how we're all healers, how important we are. I think some of the best chapters in there. And I just wrote every word that I heard. I didn't want to change a word. That was really important to me, because, you know, I just was hearing it and wanted it specifically what God wanted to get that information out to people. So some of my favorite chapters are just how important every person is. Every grain of sand on a mountain is important, because without that grain, it's not the same mountain. And when we think about that, we're like, oh, of course it's the same mountain, but then, or is it? You know, like, it's just not. And he, you know, he talks about like how important we are. And people forget about that. Everything you do matters, you know.
And if people wanted to reach out to you, as several have done tonight, is there a contact information?
They can
you'd like to
email
give?
me.
Okay.
I literally sit at night watching TV with my wonderful husband and correct papers from school and get emails or Facebook messages, and people just ask me about their animals. It takes 2 seconds. Like, you see how easy it is. It's literally, you know, 5 minutes, answer an email. And like I said, I just told God, like, you take care of my son and I will do anything. So I think of this as, because I don't take money for it ever. I have never. Some people want to contribute or make a contribution. So, you know, the wolf sanctuary that I worked in Colorado, they can send money there. A friend of mine does wildlife rehabilitation also. He's also a teacher. He has a huge farm, so like I have them send the money there. But I just think, you know, and sometimes I just say, just pay it forward. Do something really kind for somebody else, you know. And yeah, so they can email me.
What's the email address?
Suzanne, Suzanne .Johnson 22@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Yep.
And Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. I hope it was enlightening.
I think
Yeah.
many people got to
Yeah.
hear
It was.
things
And
they
you know, I
didn't
can just
expect.
add too, we're all hearing them. So sometimes it's a feeling that you get or words, and when you hear your animal talking to you in words, it probably really is. And we dismiss it as like, I didn't really hear that. But a lot of times we are. And that's one of the things I help people do, is to hear their animals in that sense.
Well, thank you again.
Thanks.
And you, stay tuned. We'll be back with more community stories and, of course, the answer to the trivia question.
Mamaroneck residents celebrated the last block party of the summer season. Reporter Alexandria Garcia was there, and here's the community story.
Despite the rain, that did not stop the residents and visitors alike to take advantage of the annual block party on the avenue. Fortunately, many vendors, restaurants, and bouncy castles were at everyone's disposal to let loose and enjoy with their friends and family.
You know, it's really just to celebrate families coming together and enjoying summer fun.
You can't go wrong in a friendly village around. Even when it rains on and off, people are still here, you see, coming up and down. Not as crowded as we'd like it to be, but it's still fun.
The block party is an awesome opportunity for local businesses from the avenue to promote anything ranging from food, fitness classes, and even voice lessons.
Tonight for the block party, we have our Belly and the Beast slider, which is candied pork belly, white American cheese, chili aioli, and lettuce.
Okay. Can you show us that? Yes.
And it comes with a side of sweet potato chips.
Wow, it looks really good.
I just moved to Mamaroneck a few months ago, and I started a full-time business teaching voice lessons.
We're a local fitness boutique studio, Total Fusion Studios, and we're just in Mamaroneck right now to promote our business.
Aside from vendors and new businesses at the block party, there were performances that attracted people of all ages at the avenue. One specific performer named Christy caught the attention of many young fans with her new hit single, Time to Turn Up. We even were able to catch up with the new artist after her performance.
I actually just made a new song. It's called Time to Turn Up, where you can find it on iTunes and YouTube.
Okay, and since it's been like on iTunes or YouTube, how many views have you had so far?
Right now on YouTube we have about over 15,000. So it's been a lot of fun, and I am so lucky to be supported by a lot of people.
She was so good. She's so talented. 10 out of 10. Love. That was iconic.
I hope you had as much fun as I did. I'm Alexandria Garcia reporting from the local live, and I'll see you here next year, same place, same channel.
So the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio are officially over, and Team USA walked away with 121 medals, including 33 for swimming alone. This week, producer Kat Galliano gives us an inside look at Larchmont's Badger Swim Club, where many of the Olympians got their start. Here's In the Spotlight.
Team USA is sweeping the Olympics in Rio, but did you know that many champions got their start right here in this Olympic pool in Larchmont with the legendary coach John Collins? Badger Swim Club was started in the 1940s when the 10-acre property was bought by John Collins' father. He explains why his family got into the competitive swim club business.
I grew up here, and of course I grew up with an Olympic-sized pool in my front yard, so it's no surprise that we gravitated towards swimming. My dad wanted me to become an Olympic-type swimmer, and so everything we did from the time I was 8 or 9, 10 years old was aimed at trying to bring Olympic swimmers here, train people like myself into becoming much better swimmers.
John was the All-American butterflyer at Indiana University and transitioned into coaching the sport in 1970.
One of my friends roped me into coaching at the Bride YMCA, and that's when it started, back in 1971. And I've been coaching ever since. And since I was exposed to the best, the highest levels of swimming, it was a pretty normal procedure for me to take kids from Westchester and make them into Olympic-type swimmers. And beginning with Rick Carey in 1984, Lee Lovelace from Yonkers in 1992, and Christina Teuscher from New Rochelle in 1996 and 2000. We have a pretty good track record.
This year, he sent a record 16 swimmers to the Olympic trials in Omaha, Nebraska, including Cody Miller, who went off to win the bronze medal in the men's 100-meter breaststroke and a gold medal in the men's 4x100-meter medley relay, alongside legendary Michael Phelps in Rio. I asked John how he feels about seeing his swimmers competing in big meets.
Well, as I said, I've always been in a big arena. And one of the things I always say is we don't want to be big fish in a small pond. You know, winning Westchester County championships is great, but we were always focused on what's going on around the country and where are the best swimmers and how fast are they. So we used to take our kids out to meets in Cincinnati, and we still take the people to Toronto, to Montreal, to be exposed to what's going on outside of our little world.
What does it take to be a great Olympic swimmer? John shares with us what he thinks is the recipe for success.
And it's a question of having enough pool time, having the right attitude, and trying to create the right environment to take kids like this and make them into national caliber swimmers.
We also got a chance to talk to two high school swimmers who had just finished their early morning practice. They told us what their schedule looks like and how attending big meets inspires them.
In September, we start training short course yards, which is half the length of this pool. And it's about 6 months of training and then big meets.
It's intimidating, but it motivated me a lot seeing all the really fast swimmers, because I really think I want to keep going so I can get to be that good.
After speaking with Coach Collins and a few of our local swimmers, I feel so inspired to go for a swim myself. For the Local Live, I'm Kat Galliano, diving off.
You're watching The Local Live,
the only news show on Larchmont and Mamaroneck on LMC-TV.
Alice is an outgoing 2-year-old Lab Shepherd Ridgeback Hound mix. She's very sweet and friendly with people and with other dogs as well. For more information on how to adopt Alice or browse other adorable pets, go to www.ny-petrescue.org.
Remember, if you'd like to keep us on the air, support our program by checking out our website at www.lmctv.org and click the donate button in the upper right. We really appreciate any contribution.
We're always looking for new interns and volunteers, so send your emails to thelocallive@lmctv.org and join us. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kat Galliano.
And I'm Stephen Anastas. See you next week for another episode of The Local Live.
Oh, hello.
by Ted Ostrich, The Power of Human Speech.
What?